Dan Christensen, he's the editor and founder of BrowardBulldog.com. He's a former investigative reporter for Miami Herald and the Daily Business Review. In fact, he's an award-winning reporter. Dan, welcome to the Young Turks.
How are you? By the way, it's BrowardBulldog.org. We're a not-for-profit.
Oh, okay. God bless. All right. Now, Dan, you found some interesting connections between some of the 9/11 hijackers and Saudi Arabia. But before we even get to that, let's set the story right. Let's talk about the connections they have to South Florida. So can you tell us about that?
Well, it's long been known that there's a lot of connections between the hijackers and South Florida. And by the way, I guess the distinction for those that don't live here is that Sarasota is on the west coast of Florida, fronting the Gulf of Mexico. And I actually am in Fort Lauderdale, which is on the east side, facing the Atlantic Ocean. So we have sort of, as we refer to it locally, southeast Florida, which is Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach area, and then southwest Florida, which is Sarasota area. And both in Sarasota, or in the southeast and southwest Florida, there's been well-known connections to hijackers. Muhammad Atta and a couple of the other ones took flight lessons in Venice, which is just a city just south of Sarasota. They also trained on airplanes here in southeast Florida, in Miami, and there's a big flight simulator down there they used, and they lived, as a matter of fact, where I live in Fort Lauderdale. The guy that flew into the second tower bought tires at a local tire store where I go and take my kids. So I've always had a sort of a personal interest in this, because of something like that kind of gives you a chill up your back.
Yeah, so who did they wind up staying with at one point in Sarasota, and how are that family related to Saudi Arabia? Because that's where the story gets interesting.
Well, the story doesn't say that they stayed there. What the story says is that there was an FBI investigation back shortly after 9/11 into the circumstances of the abrupt departure from a local house in a very upscale neighborhood, a gated community, shortly before 9/11, approximately August 30th, 2001. And when the family that lived there was a young Saudi man and his wife, who was the daughter of the owner of the property, a guy by the name of Isam Ghazawi. And they had owned the house for several years. They had lived there for several years, and after their abrupt departure, in which they left, leaving brand new cars in the driveway and in the garage, there was a refrigerator full of food. There was clothes hanging in the closet, and intriguingly, an open safe in the master bedroom. After a couple weeks later, 911 happens, and people start calling the FBI, wanting to know what was going on. So the FBI came in, did an investigation, and we spoke, myself and my co-author, who was the guy who actually got the tip on this, a guy named Anthony Summers. He's an Irish author. He wrote he and his wife, Robin Summers, wrote a book called The 11th Day. This particular incident is not in that book because they only learned about it a few weeks ago when we reported it, or confirmed it. I first heard hints of it a couple of years ago. Anyway, we spoke with, or he spoke with a couple of different people down here. One is on the record. He's a guy by the name of Larry Berberich. He represented in the administrative function this local community over there. It's a place called Prestancia. And he was the guy who was in charge, too, of the security gate where you went in and out of there. And after the FBI came calling, they ended up turning over their gate records to the FBI, including photographs that they'd taken of the license plates, cars coming and going, and also logs of the people that went in and out. Now, there are no photographs of the people themselves that actually went in, but according to both he and a counterterrorism agent who wishes to remain anonymous, they both said that the FBI came back, and found links to the hijackers, that the license plates came back to Atta, and one of the other hijackers' cars that they were using. They weren't necessarily driving those cars. We don't have pictures, as I say, of them going in and out of the house. But that is, what the FBI reported back.
Right. So, Dan, let me ask this. So, we've got the 9/11 hijackers' cars going to this house, and this house occupants on August 30th, right before 9/11 happens, they leave in a panic. They leave, the produce out. They leave a new car in the driveway, etc. So they obviously knew it was coming, right? So how are the?
Well, I don't know if we can say that.
I can say that.
Suggestion, right?
I know you're a reporter. I do analysis. They obviously knew. Okay, so my question is, how is that family then connected back to Saudi Arabia?
Well, first of all, they were Saudis. They're native Saudis. The young man was a student at the University of South Florida. His name is Abdulaziz Al-Hiji. His wife Anud was, a young mother. They had 3 kids. Two were twins, as we understand it. And like I say, they had moved in around it was either 1995 or 1996. While he had been a student, he was also a student at another local community college before he went there. He graduated, stopped attending the University of South Florida in April 2001. He was awarded a degree 7 months later in August 2001, and then they left very shortly and abruptly after that. Our sources told us that the FBI traced these people leaving the country, going to Saudi Arabia after traveling to Virginia, staying there for a couple of days where Mr. Ghazawi or his family owns some other property, and then traveling on from there to Riyadh, as I understand it.
Right. Are they connected to the Saudi government at all?
Well, we're still kind of working on that question. We have not reported any connection back to the Saudi government with them. We have heard some interesting stories that we're in the process of trying to check out, but we have not done that yet. Others claim that that's the case, but we have not done that yet.
Was Ghazawi ever questioned by us?
The FBI contends, yes, and I guess we should back up and start afresh, because the FBI has denied here that there is any connection between any of this and 9/11. They have not explained how that's the case. They have not released any details of their findings. They have simply given, a couple of blanket statements saying that there was no connection here found to the 9/11 plot.
See, that's what makes the whole thing really questionable. Because, okay, so this family's from Saudi Arabia. The hijackers were Saudis. They might be connected to the government. None of this is a shock so far to anybody. But why is the FBI claiming that it had nothing to do with it when you got the guys going in, at least their cars going in back and forth, all of a sudden the abrupt exit? And how about the part of the 9/11 report that was blacked out? Can you tell us a little bit about that? What might be in there? Why was it blacked out?
Well, let me start with the first half, and then I'll come back to that second part of the question. As for why the FBI is saying this, we do not know. They are not. We have asked them. Other reporters have asked them quite specifically to say, okay, hey, if there's no connection here, then tell us why, and we'll all go away. There's plenty of other things to report out there. But they haven't chosen not to do that. We've got a Freedom of Information Act request in. Senator Graham, former Senator Bob Graham, who was on the chairman or co-chairman of Congress's joint inquiry into 9/11 a decade ago, or nearly a decade ago, has requested from the FBI that they provide them with the tracking information on the documents that were supposedly turned over to his inquiry on this, because he says the FBI never told us about this. The FBI has also denied that. They have said that they did turn this information over, but both Senator Graham and others that were on the staff and members of that committee have said that they never heard about this incident. So there's a lot of disconnect here. Things aren't adding up, and so that's why we're continuing to work this story.
So how about the blacked out part of the 9/11 Commission report?
Okay, that's not new. That happened at the time. It was made public at the time. Senator Graham and his bipartisan colleague, Senator Shelby at the time, and Senator Graham continues to say there was no reason, no national security reason as to why that stuff was blacked out. He knows what's in it. He can't talk about it, and he won't talk about it. But it is a section that has to do with, possible connections between the hijackers and foreign powers here. So there's a presumption that there may be information in there about Saudi Arabia.
So when you put all this together, Dan, I mean, I know my guess is you're not going to speculate on it, right? But it's hard to come away with a conclusion that our government, especially given how we immediately flew out the influential Saudi families in the country without even questioning them. We flew them out of the country when they were the most likely to have had contact with the hijackers. And combine that with the FBI being evasive here, combine that with the redacted part that is very likely about Saudi Arabia in the commission report, and it seems like we are going, out of our way here to protect Saudi Arabia.
Well, certainly that's what Senator Graham thinks. And he has other evidence. I mean, there's a whole other incident out in San Diego that he points to back. The joint inquiry found this back in 2002, I guess it was. There was a guy out there. That's where a couple of the hijackers came from. There was, I believe, they were the first hijackers to enter the country. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, they came in through San Diego. They stayed there for a while, and they had a guy named Omar al-Bayoumi, who was a Saudi, who provided extensive assistance to them, including getting them housing and stuff like that. It's all detailed in their report. But what's interesting to me in light of this is the fact that the FBI never disclosed al-Bayoumi's handiwork here, shall we say, to the joint inquiry here. They had to find this out for themselves, according to Senator Graham, and he contends that this is all part of deliberate efforts to cover up information about the Saudi connection.
Look, this is now.
Is that true? I certainly have no way of knowing that.
Right. I understand that.
Let me say, if I might, let me add one other thing that struck me. Okay, as we were talking about all this, is he said he's called on the President Obama to reopen the investigation here, and he's not alone. Kathy Castor, is a congresswoman over in Tampa, has come out to do this. I don't know if others have, but clearly there's more than just one lone wolf here saying this. By the way, Bob Graham is a very respected guy in Florida. If you don't live here, you may not be all aware. He was two-time governor, senator for over a decade. I can't remember precisely how long, but is well respected. He's in a bipartisan way, and has a very good reputation here. So he's not some kook. And his concern here is, he gave me a quote that I used at the end of one of the stories that we did, and it rang with me. He said he was concerned about the fact that not only does he want the president to look into this or order somebody to look into it, but that there be some sense of urgency here. Because he said, his quote to me was, if they provided this kind of support for an operation in 2001, do they have the same capability to do it in 2011?
Yeah, that's definitely a very concerning. And look, I'll give you my opinion. I'll give the audience my opinion on this. I think that our government doesn't really care about 9/11, and they use it as a pretense for whatever they want to do. Because if we cared about 9/11, we'd investigate Saudi Arabia. In fact, Saudi Arabia is the last country in the world that we want to investigate, even though they obviously have a tremendous amount of ties to 9/11. Instead, we went and invaded Iraq. That had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11. It's because the people in charge didn't give a damn. All they wanted to do was use it for their own purposes, okay? So, I mean, and I think that Dan's story, and that's obviously my opinion, not Dan's, but Dan's story is a really interesting insight into how little they cared. Not even that they didn't care. In my opinion, they covered it up. Oh, no, we buy oil from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is an ally, so we don't want to say anything about them. Iraq is not an ally, so let's invade them instead. I mean, when you see the whole story, it's absolutely egregious. So,
as a journalist, it sure is interesting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no question. Dan, one last fun fact that has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but it is interesting. Well, it's not even interesting. It's just fun to throw out there. So this all happened in Sarasota. Al-Hiji and Anud lived there. That's where the hijackers visited, etc. Can you tell me where President Bush was, in what city he was in an elementary school reading that book when 9/11 happened?
Sarasota. As a matter of fact, Larry Berberich, who was one of our sources on this thing, he's an advisor back then to the Sarasota County Sheriff. He was with the group that received the president on his visit to the school that morning.
All right.
It's interesting.
Interesting fact to leave it on. All right, Dan
Yes.
Christensen, everybody can now read him on browardbulldog.org. Dan, thanks so much for joining us on the Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
Correct. Hey, thanks very much, Jack. I appreciate it.